You don't go broke all at once. You go broke quietly. You go broke one upgrade at a time. It starts with something small. You walk into the Apple store. Your phone still works. Battery life is weaker than before. There's a small crack on the corner of the screen. Nothing urgent. But suddenly, the new iPhone is in your hands. Titanium frame, perfect display, sharper camera, faster chip. You tell yourself, it's not a want, it's an investment. I use my phone for work. I deserve this. So you swipe your card, $1,200. You walk out feeling accomplished, productive, elevated. But here's where the real story begins. You sit in your car and look at it again, and now your old charging cable looks embarrassing. It feels wrong plugging this futuristic device into a cheap gas station cord. So you buy the new charger, then the premium case, then wireless earbuds. Within 48 hours, your $1,200 decision quietly became $1,600. And you didn't plan for it. You didn't even question it. Because this wasn't about the phone, it was about identity. And that identity upgrade demanded consistency. And that is how most people slowly drain their wealth. Not through emergencies, not through bad luck, but through psychological chain reactions. This pattern has a name. It's called the Diderot effect. And once you understand it, you will never look at upgrading the same way again. Let me take you back to 1765. A French philosopher named Denis Diderot was living a modest life. He wasn't wealthy. He had old furniture, worn rugs, simple clothes, but he was content. Then something unexpected happened. Catherine the Great of Russia heard about his financial struggles. She admired his work, so she offered to buy his personal library for a large amount of money, while allowing him to keep the books. Overnight, Diderot had money, and like most of us would, he decided to reward himself. He bought a luxurious scarlet robe, elegant, expensive, refined. When he put it on, he felt different, elevated. But then he looked around his study. His desk looked worn, his chair looked cheap, his rug looked outdated. The robe didn't match the room. So he replaced the desk, then the chair, then the rug, then the curtains, then the artwork. One by one, he upgraded everything, not because it was broken, but because it no longer matched his new standard. And eventually, he was broke again. Later, he wrote something powerful. I was the absolute master of my old dressing gown, but I have become a slave to the new one. That sentence explains modern consumerism better than any finance textbook ever could. Here's the psychological truth. Humans crave consistency. When you upgrade one visible part of your life, everything else that doesn't match starts to feel uncomfortable. That discomfort creates tension, and spending money relieves that tension. That's the loop. Buy, raise identity, feel inconsistency, upgrade again. Now, here's why this effect is even more dangerous today. Because marketing is designed to trigger it. You don't just see a product, you see a lifestyle. You don't see a car, you see who you become when you drive it. Let's say you buy a luxury car. Before the purchase, you were comfortable wearing basic clothes, but now, cheap sunglasses feel wrong. Old sneakers feel out of place. You don't want to park in certain areas. You don't want to eat at certain places. The car silently upgrades your identity, and your spending follows. You're no longer maintaining a car, you're maintaining a version of yourself. Let's look at a modern example, fitness. You decide to get serious about your health, so you buy expensive home gym equipment. You tell yourself it's an investment, but when it arrives, your old t-shirt feels sloppy, so you buy performance gear, then better shoes, then supplements, then a smartwatch. Then you redesign a room to look like a clean workout space. You didn't just buy equipment, you bought an identity. And identities are expensive to maintain. Now here's where people make the biggest mistake. They calculate price incorrectly.
They look at the tag and ask, "Can I afford this?" Wrong question. The better question is, what will this force me to upgrade next? This is what I call the chain reaction cost. Example, you renovate your kitchen for $15,000. Now your refrigerator looks outdated, so you replace it. Now the flooring looks old, so you change it. Now the living room doesn't match the modern kitchen, so you repaint and buy new furniture. Suddenly, your $15,000 upgrade becomes $40,000. Before the renovation, you were fine. The upgrade created dissatisfaction. That's the paradox. Upgrades often create new problems. And here's the uncomfortable truth no one talks about. Luxury reduces freedom. When you own fragile, expensive things, you change your behavior. You worry about scratches, you worry about stains, you worry about perception. Instead of using your possessions, you protect them. You become the caretaker of your lifestyle. And the higher the lifestyle, the higher the maintenance cost, financially, emotionally, mentally. This is why fake it till you make it can be financially dangerous. If you buy the Rolex before you build the income, that watch will demand better clothes, better restaurants, better environments. It raises your baseline before your income rises, and that gap creates stress. Debt fills the gap, and debt destroys wealth quietly. So how do you break this cycle? You don't need to live like a minimalist monk, but you do need awareness. Here are 3 practical defenses. First, predict the chain reaction. Before buying anything significant, pause. Ask, what is the full system cost of this decision? Not just the item, the environment, the accessories, the lifestyle shift. If you buy a $700 gaming console, but it requires a new TV, subscriptions, extra controllers, it's not $700, it's $2,000. Calculate honestly. Second, cap your inventory. Adopt a one-in, one-out rule. If something new enters your life, something old leaves. This forces intentional ownership. Third, strategic modesty. This is powerful. Keep your visible anchor items humble. Drive a reliable car instead of stretching for status. Wear functional pieces instead of image pieces. When your identity baseline is simple, there's no pressure to upgrade everything else. And here's the secret. A low-maintenance identity builds wealth faster than a high-status identity ever will. Because while others are financing appearances, you're investing. While others are curating lifestyles, you're compounding capital. There's nothing wrong with nice things, but understand this. Every visible upgrade resets your baseline, and most people don't increase their income fast enough to support the new baseline. That's how middle-class earners stay middle class, not because they don't earn enough, but because every raise triggers lifestyle inflation. More income, bigger apartment. Bigger apartment, nicer furniture. Nicer furniture, better neighborhood. Better neighborhood, higher expenses. The cycle repeats. Meanwhile, the person who controls their baseline builds leverage, and leverage builds wealth. So next time you feel the urge to upgrade, pause. Ask yourself, is this purchase improving my life, or is it raising the cost of my identity? Because sometimes the most powerful financial move is not the investment you make, it's the upgrade you refuse. Don't become a slave to your robe. Be the master of your standard. And if this perspective saved you from an unnecessary purchase this week, subscribe. Because wealth isn't built by earning more alone. It's built by resisting invisible psychological traps. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, not every upgrade is progress. Sometimes it's just a more expensive version of the same life.